for Armut. I was promised he would be dancing. Okay, here we go. Yes, let's go. It is Saturday night. After all, Mad Lions are coming hot off a win versus G2 Esports just yesterday. They're up versus Misfits. I also have a very special guest, Trouble and Alfari. Alfari, you watched the whole previous segment, and you are 2-0 this week. So is there anything you'd like to say?
So Vetheo was saying that we were not a different team to last split. So I don't disagree that maybe we're not better, but we are actually a lot different. Whereas last split, we were good early game and really bad mid-late. I think that now it's like a bit the opposite. So for that reason, Vetheo is absolutely wrong. But as to whether that makes us better or not, I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter. Just what matters is he's wrong.
Yeah, I think we can all agree with that. Well, what matters is he's wrong. You are 2-0, you know, so there we go. Let's talk about the match up ahead. It is Misfits versus the Mad Lions. Georgia, Misfits, really rough start to the season, picking up a few wins here and there. What are they really going to need to get it going?
That black shield from Morgana that we gave them yesterday, the divine intervention, as we called it. I think what Misfits really needed to fix was their level 1. They were not covering their jungle in the early game, which means that all of the teams that they played against up until the 0-4 point were spotting Shlatan from level 1 on his first camp, and then they never let go. They always knew where he was, which means that every time he was trying to pull a gank, the counter gank was there, and it was going wrong for Misfits. Now, what has gone right for the last 2 games of Misfits is that they prioritized jungle in their draft. So they gave Shlatan a Wukong, something that's very proactive and really good in trades early on, and they also covered the jungle really well so he doesn't get spotted.
So it's better, and it has all to do with, okay, this is what we need from our jungler and what we need our jungler to do for us. Alfari, what is your view on Misfits and how they look, well, relatively different and less strong than Spring so far?
Yeah, my view on Misfits is that they're just like not as aggressive or exciting as they were last split. I think that they really need Vetheo and Shlatan.
Shlatan, yes.
Shlatan to like start making the same aggressive plays they were doing in Spring, because that's how they were getting wins. I mean, aside from abusing Jinx, but you can't do that anymore. And yeah, they're just not doing it as well now. Maybe it's just like a slower mid lane meta with Corki being really broken. So this might be a part, but I think they need to, yeah, I mean, they were just like really good in Spring mid jungle, and now they are not as good.
Yeah, you think so? It's a meta related thing for them a little bit at least?
Maybe a little bit, but I don't think it's like that simple. I think maybe they're just not playing as good right now.
And also, as a team, part of the challenges is going along with the meta, right? So let's talk about the Mad Lions. They've been kind of the surprise so far of summer in terms of how well they've adapted with Nisqy. What do you think he's brought to the team?
Yeah, Nisqy has definitely been playing good, I would say, especially in scrims. He's a very supportive mid laner. I mean, that's what he gets always talked about, right? That's what you think about when you think about him. And right now you see Lissandra and Ahri be 2 really high prior picks. And when he has a jungler like Elyoya as well, and Kaiser, who, I mean, Mad Lion's strength really is their jungle and support synergy and their playmaking around these 2 players, from my perspective.
Yeah.
And Nisqy is just a really good facilitator for this. The champs, I mean, Swain as well, you see it right here. They're all enabling Elyoya and Kaiser to just, you know, go into the enemy jungle because he has mid push and he has CC, and he has like a strong champion for Herald fights as well. So yeah, they just have like more coherent early game, and I think it's really noticeable.
I feel like this is a very good point, the fact that he's a support mid laner, because having Unforgiven down in the bot lane, a lot of the criticism was that Unforgiven was misstepping, he was getting caught, and especially when you play on that Jinx Aphelios meta, you cannot afford to be the first one to die, because you're literally the carry for your team, you're all the damage your team holds. Right now with Nisqy playing picks like you mentioned, Ahri, Lissandra, Swain, these picks create so much room around hyper carries like Zeri, like Twitch to just take the stage.
Okay, it's interesting that you said something. Of course, we always think about what is the synergy, what kind of champion are you picking towards the style that you want to play, but you're also saying specifically they make sure that they have a good tool in the mid laner for their setups for objectives like Dragon, etc. Is that something that wasn't always the case for Mad Lions last time around, or is that something that teams often forget?
I'm not sure if it's something that teams forget. I think that now it's just more obvious because these champions are actually meta and strong. Lissandra and Ahri, like, you can just pick them. You don't have to default to, you know, Orianna, Azir, Victor, and just like scale for late game. You can play these more, you know, early game oriented champions, right? And this suits Nisqy. I think Mad Lions in Spring, one of their weaknesses was, yeah, their early game, and now Nisqy helps it.
Okay, let's see what we get from the draft for Misfits versus Mad.
So right as we jump into the champion select between the Mad Lions and Misfits, of course, let's throw out there a few prior picks that these teams really do value for themselves. So when it comes to Mad Lions and Misfits, Wukong has been a very key component to their victories. The only 2 victories that Misfits do have is from the Wukong, and due to that proactivity we mentioned in the early stages of the game, Elyoya also gets unlocked in these more aggressive junglers. On the other hand, we have things like Zeri, who has been the prominent carry for Unforgiven down that bot lane, Swain from the side of Nisqy, and of course, let's not forget, Alfari, you mentioned as well, Corki has been rising up in the mid lane as well.
Okay, for now, we're seeing a bot lane focus on the Wukong immediately off the table. If, of course, the Volibear doesn't get banned out, you think maybe that's going to get picked up. Alfari, anything out of the ordinary yet for you?
Nothing too much, no. I mean, I think these bans make a lot of sense that you have to ban Wukong and Yuumi on red side against Mad. I'm surprised they actually banned Corki, because now that leaves Misfits open to ban Gangplank, which before you could kind of just prioritize Corki or GP as first pick, and now I'm not sure what they're looking to actually take as the first option.
I think we might be looking for a Zeri here, because it's Mad Lions, unless you wanted to... if this is not a Volibear ban right here, which means that you get to have the S tier jungler for the side of Mad Lions, and Elyoya can take it away. So they ban
So they're giving them the choice, basically.
Exactly. They have the choice between a Zeri and a Volibear right here, unless they want to default back to the Lucian, which hasn't been as prominent in B1s anymore.
Okay, it's Gangplank.
Oh, okay. Talk to us, Alfari, please.
Surprise.
Yeah, so, I mean, you see Twitch in Europe be a fairly common answer into Zeri. I think this is why it's not being first picked right now. Neon, I'm not sure if he's played it, but I think he is a Twitch player. So it makes sense to not first pick Zeri, from my understanding of bot lane. And Gangplank, I think this is the very, very high priority champion. It's good into Ornn, in my opinion, but, you know, Ornn gets picked into it regardless.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean,
it's been a great champion for Armut historically, but also specifically this split when he's been like finding his footing. So in general, that's been working out. The Vetheo is being considered together with the Ornn.
I'm just not a big fan of Vetheo right here. I'd rather see Shlatan on Lee Sin at this point instead of Vetheo.
I thought you were really angry about the Lee Sin before. Oh! So why can Gilius? So you can't. Gilius isn't allowed to play it, but Shlatan is.
Okay. Following historically, Shlatan has been one of the best Lee Sins in Europe, especially back when he was playing in the ERLs and the likes of Kick and everything. So bringing his Lee Sin back in spring.
But you said then
versus
SK, I asked specifically backstage. I said, would you ever allow? And you said it's just not good right now. What do you think, Alfari?
This is Shlatan Lee Sin.
What do you think, Alfari?
I mean, if Gilius couldn't make Lee Sin work, then I don't know if Shlatan can. I'm not a big fan of this champion right now, but it seems to be like a comfort pick, so maybe it can work.
I love the trust out of trouble, but we'll see what actually happens. Kalista being locked in on the other side.
I think if you manage to lock here Renata Kalista, you have secured yourself probably one of the strongest 2v2 bot lanes that exist in the meta right now. Of course, they're going to choose to go for the Vetheo. A little bit more of a passive jungler, if you ask me. Likes to farm for more of the late game. So it actually gives a window for Shlatan if he locks in a very strong mid-jungle duo to actually try to make plays in the early game for Misfits.
That would be, when you look at Misfits historically, their best avenue for success, right, Alfari?
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see like an Ari or an Alessandra locked in right now. And then you can ban 2 picks for it. You have a really strong mid-jungle, and you can kind of go from there. For draft, at least you have like 1 strength already locked in. So it makes a lot of sense for the players as well, the way they want to play. Yeah,
you also see that there's a clear go button on the side of Misfits, and I think with teams that lack wins, I'll just put it like that. Sometimes an Ornn is just really good, or something that can just say, okay, now we're going, guys, and that's the way it is.
You know what's really good at stealing away your engaged tools? Sylas, which is something that Nisqy really loves to play in the mid lane. The Ari ult is really strong, the Lee Sin ult is really strong, the Ornn, who you can engage from super far away without putting yourself in danger if you're the Sylas. Of course, Nisqy's Twisted Fate is the primary target right here because he really likes to roam, but I think it might be fair to also ban his Sylas away to make sure that Mad Lions have less tools to engage with.
It's got to be a Lissandra ban. I imagine versus Nisqy. I think he's going to get his hands on the Sylas if he wants to, but one or the other, I think this is... Oh, okay. He's going to get Lissandra, maybe.
I think unlocking Lissandra here for Nisqy makes the Vetheo a little bit more viable in the early game because you have that much more setup onto the Ahri. So you can bring your Vetheo in the mid lane and punish the Ahri pre-level 6. It could be a very clever pick actually because thank you, FLICKR completely forgot about the Lissandra. We talked about it previously as well.
Does that actually happen often, Alfari? Because we often think, oh, they must have forgotten about X. Is it most of the time you're just willing to give it to the opponent because you think you have an answer?
There's no way they forgot about Lissandra, right?
Especially not Lissandra, I think. I think, yeah, the question was in general more.
Yeah, I mean, it happens for sure, but I think like a prime example would have been yesterday. Astralis was Fnatic not banning Wonders Gragas when it was in such a broken spot to just line pick it against all the champions. I think that must have been forgotten about. I think here, it's a very common matchup Ahri Lissandra. They know that with TF and Sylas banned, this is like 90% going to get locked in. Unless he's going to bring out something totally crazy, but it's not going to happen. It's going to be Lissandra. It's really obvious for everyone.
And since Misfits knew it was coming, they probably are fine with it. Trouble, can you see their reasoning?
I think that you're just really looking for a very strong mid-jungle duo, and I think Lee Sin is very mobile, Ahri is very mobile. They can dish out a lot of early game damage. You just need to make sure that Vetheo stays alive for the majority of the early game, which means until level 6, where he will have his flash and his ultimate if he wants to get out of sticky situations. Now the thing is, bot lane is extremely strong for the side of Mad Lions. They have the Kalista that wants to be snowballed in the early game. You've got the Lissandra in the middle that shoves in waves really quickly. So if we do see Nisqy on his ever-roaming style, it could be very short towards the top side, bottom side of the map, because you have Zeri that wants to scale into the late game, but you play into a not use Kalista.
Alfari, what do you think about the Zeri and Renata for the bot lane roundout from Misfits?
I mean, I really like Misfits bot lane pairing, actually. I think Renata is supposed to be a strong matchup into the Nautilus, so I was kind of surprised to see Nautilus locked in, but I guess they were anticipating Zeri and wanted to have that lockdown for it as a last pick. But yeah, as a duo, Zeri, Renata, the scaling is really crazy, and I mean, they do have Nautilus ult to try and lock it down, but I think it is a good matchup for Misfits. Yeah. So I'm not sure. I like Misfits bot lane more.
Yeah. I think whoever gets their hands on the engage button, if an anchor does land, whether it is on the Zeri or the Renata, Kalista was one of the strongest level 1s in the game. And if you do take control of the lane from the get-go, then that allows a lot of pressure from jungle and mid to bleed into your game, right? So Misfits, very key features right here. Make sure you cover your jungle. He's playing Lee Sin, which is one of the most exploitable junglers right now because he doesn't have a lot of really good matchups. Make sure Shlatan gets unspotted through the early game and try to bleed your mid jungle pressure onto the map.
Okay, Misfits versus the Mad Lions. Misfits have given themselves the tools at least to get into those team fights and hopefully upset the Mad Lions, but they are coming off of a big win over G2 Esports and everything seems to be working well for them. I'm going to toss soon because I'm building up to something. Quick prediction, Alfari.
Honestly, I prefer Misfits comp, but Mad Lions have a gangplank, so I'm not sure. I think Misfits going to win. Actually. I'm going to say Misfits win.
Is that a little bit of previous Misfits bias coming in there?
No, it's not. No.
Okay, good.
It's just the draft bias.
Okay, let's get into it. Misfits versus Mad Lions.
Alrighty, Mad Lions versus Misfits, 4-2-2-4 mirrored score lines, and a favored Misfits draft from Alfari on the desk. I love that man. He's very blunt and very casual with his criticism. Yes, it's very funny. You never know it's going to come out.
You know, it's obvious to everyone Lissandra. And he was right. So
there it is.
Yeah, Lissandra got picked up, Nautilus, and then the Zeri last pick. Very surprising to see things like Zeri last pick, but here we are. We won't expect too much action level 1. GP level 1 does do a lot of damage. Lee Sin doesn't. They could walk in if they fancy it. They're going to try to fish for information here and get a ward on red, I expect. See where Shlatan starts, check his pathing, and then go back to Elyoya starting side.
Oh. Good recognition of their own level 1 strength. High. Dracos, Kadril, still here, still casting. These are the minions. The ones we spared. The rest will die.
3 minions and 2 of us. We're a 5-man team.
There it is. You can see why we struggle to make it out of lower elo.
Thought you were going to do another playoff joke or something.
No, you're good. We got to mix it up every once in a while.
I'm free of medic. He normally drops them every single cast.
Well, I mean, he's got to keep you on your toes. It's a balancing act, really. We talked about it behind stage, me and medic, you know. Can't let the ego grow too big. I build you up, he tears you down. It's a team effort.
Good cop, bad cop.
Yep, exactly.
Well, Armut's going to have a very happy time in this lane phase. If anyone's not familiar with GP, you get Grasp, you hit minions, so Grasp is up, you press Q. And if he walks up, you hit him. And that's exactly what Armut will do. And so Irrelevant might... Thought he was going to have to flash there, but Armut's just going to back away. Doesn't want to commit fully to the auto attacks. And yeah, it's pretty annoying for Irrelevant to farm. GP will obviously win this lane early. We'll see if Irrelevant can find kill pressure at level 6 when Shlatan visits there, because Shlatan actually went on an interesting path. He went Raptors into Wolves, and now he's going to Gromp, I imagine, to level up and get to level 3. I mean, it is quite a quick level 3. We'll see if he goes towards bot afterwards. Otherwise, you're in this awkward spot where you do Gromp and blue, and now you have to run all the way to your red, right? But the benefit of that is that the ward will expire, so then Elyoya won't know exactly when he's on that red. But then again, Elyoya could walk into that red because he, like Alfari talked about on the desk, mid lane has push, it has CC, that allows Elyoya to invade. Ping's already coming in. Elyoya's question marking this red, saying, hang on, why hasn't this been started yet? If we can get the camera on Nisqy, we'll see he's just going to hover, and then there goes your red buff. So there's the early mid jungle that the desk was talking about, which puts Shlatan behind. So I guess Shlatan's only option here is to gank bot, because he's going to lose his red and Krugs, you imagine. And you can see Mad Lion's bot lane, of course, are involved in the play. They're saying, we're taking their red, Lee Sin has to be bot side, try to find him. They found him, and now the question is, do they die? Looks like they're out, and yeah, information in Mad Lions' pocket.
An excellent early game from Mad Lions. Obviously very solid at the set plays, very good at using that pressure. GP on the top side of the level 1 built a big advantage for himself, while Irrelevant is now finally able to fight back. You can see why that pressure is going in his favor. Lysandra as well. Lots of AoE early on in the game, and dives, we saw it go so wrong for Astralis in the previous game. This one much earlier, should be much easier to execute. Demolish proc already coming through. Maybe they can just go for the plate. Nisqy on the way up as well. No one's taking the tower aggro yet. It's Elyoya. Immediately he starts to run away slowly but surely. The Ice Shard goes a bit wide, but the auto will not. Mad Lions grab first blood.
Very good patience there by Elyoya. The only way this dive would be messed up is if Elyoya hits the stun, gets tower aggro, and then gets knocked up. Then you're facing a 1-for-1 here as Kaiser pops the hook. Gotta look for the all-in.
Unforgiven going in. Mersa ticking, burning.
What happened to that last auto attack? Did Unforgiven just cancel his last auto attack? I wonder if he did, because it looked like the animation was coming off and then he'd press E. I think they had kill pressure there, but anyway, Mersa does not die. And they're gonna keep the bot push up. Regardless, they get 2 summoners out of Mersa. Mad Lions use 3 summoners. I think the best thing here is for Mad Lions just push this wave in base and come back onto the lane and try again on the next hook. But you can see Shlatan moved up to that top crab, has recovered a bit in camps because Elyoya looks for the gank. Nisqy saves TP and gets this mid wave, so great early game by Mad Lions so far.
For now, these early advantages are going to continue to stack up, but 1k gold lead in their favor. Mid lane, top lane, 700 divided between them. Very, very good start for the Mad Lions. Of course, Vetheo's cleanse is going to help him mitigate some of the kill pressure that could come through in the mid lane, but have to be careful, especially for Irrelevant, who really lost out on that top lane dive. 31-18, you expect the Ornn to be at a little bit of a deficit, but this is pretty devastating.
Yeah, definitely is. I mean, the problem he had was it was almost like a split map issue going on where Elyoya takes your red, takes your Krugs, his jungler's bot side, you're playing weak side, Ornn into GP. Kind of inevitable you get dove once the stacking waves collapse. And for argument's sake, even if he was a little bit higher HP, Nisqy was there anyway, so the play was a 3-man no matter what, and it might happen again. Stacking wave, look at Mersa on the minimap. He reads this play very well. He knows this is going to happen. Irrelevant. The best thing you can do here is just try to stay as healthy as possible and pray that your support arrives in time, because here they go again. Nisqy's very close to 6. We'll see if he tanks to get some minion XP here. No, he won't, so he won't get the level up. Shlatan and Mersa waiting for it to happen. Here they come.
Top side, 4v3 if you count the tower. Maybe they can burn down the Ornn fast enough. He doesn't have the charge quite yet. It gets it just in time. Unstoppable. Elyoya flashes out to safety. Armut ticking, burning the oranges. Making it all okay for now. Shlatan going to back off. Good heads-up play from Misfits to respond and put members on the top side.
Yeah, really good protection on the dive there. The only problem you have is you give up bot lane. So now Vetheo has to defend his AD carry from being dove here. We'll see him move towards the bot side. He's going to run over a pink, and now Mad Lions won't dive the Zeri. So Vetheo smartly covering his weak side there. And Irrelevant can catch the wave. Still quite far behind in CS. And you can see in the gold leads all going towards Mad Lions right now. Kaiser just trying to get as much information as possible. Elyoya will pick up the mid wave. Happy days. Armut will go towards mid because obviously with Nisqy being top, he can just push out. And we'll have a bit of an awkward lane state here for Mad Lions until they swap these solo lanes back, because Armut will be losing here and he wants to ideally be against the Ornn. So I expect Nisqy to just push out this next top wave base and then take over mid again.
But credit to Mad Lions for adjusting their lane assignments on the fly and the way they worked with their recalls, even if the timings were not ideal. Mersa doing what he can to flash over the wall, hooking, locking him down.
Oh, wow.
Blast cone, they have to get away from that one. Mersa just instantly gone. The amount of damage coming out from Unforgiven is unbelievable.
Yeah, no flash, of course. Didn't get the blast cone. Kaiser didn't let him. They're absolutely everywhere here, Mad Lions, moving around the map to perfection. If they got that kill on him earlier as well, this could be a 3-0 scoreline with a 2-0 Kalista, but they're still so far ahead already in this early game. I mean, they have 2 winning side lanes that can find all-ins at any point in the game, which Shlatan kind of has to defend, and a mid laner that can move around the map freely. So Nisqy hasn't based just yet from that top wave. He's going to collect waves. He has probably a lot of gold that he's sitting on that he can TP back and after spending, and then they'll still control through mid. Herald spawning in 1 minute. Kaiser's moving mid as well. And yeah, just perfect play so far in this early game for Mad Lions.
This is where it gets really scary for Misfits, because now you have the GP ult up and available, Nisqy's ult as well, and when Unforgiven and Kaiser tick over to level 6, those 2 cleanses, yeah, they're nice. They don't do a lot against the Nautilus ultimate or the Nautilus hook, so if they're able to push out enough on the bottom side to get Kaiser to start roaming, it's going to be nigh impossible to survive in those lanes.
And I think this weekend is a great showing for Armut, because if you just think back to last year, his champion pool was quite small. A lot of people criticized it, saying he can only play Wukong, he can only play Gnar and Jace, and that's basically it. And then Gwen came out, and then Gwen got added to his champion pool, and his Gwen was quite successful. But in a meta with things like Lee Sin and Renekton, it looked like he wasn't really finding his footing. Spring, also, Armut, where was Armut? You know, this team doesn't make playoffs. He's a 2-time NXT champion, right? And he's not actually being able to match up or find pressure or find ways to carry his team. Last game against G2 yesterday, fantastic performance. This game again, he gets his hands on a first pick GP, which obviously has now been added to his pool. He's prioritizing incredible top pressure, and his team is actually able to play around it. Having that winning lane is so important when you have such a roaming mid playstyle from Nisqy.
Getting the coal as well, so Armut going to come online very much ahead of schedule. GP naturally inflates his own gold, but still very good for him to have this kind of lead. 7 CS in the lead for now. Relevant though, level 7. Bit of extra XP at this particular moment in time. Herald's going to be big here in the early game, maybe a way for Misfits to fight their way back into the game. The Ornn ult obviously much more powerful in the full-on 5v5 than the GP ult.
Yeah, this Herald is gone. There's no way Misfits can fight this. Kaiser just hit level 6. They're going to push this mid wave and hover towards the top side. They need to go back and catch bot wave. If Neon pushes it in, you can see Neon's already running back there, because I think they realize this is gone. There's no way they can face check Lissandra, Nautilus, Kalista at 8 minutes into the game with ultimates. Now, the biggest issue Mad Lions have here is getting back to bot. They need to get this Kalista to catch the wave. The only issue is Vetheo is around, and now they have to fish their way through the darkness. The Shlatan could be there. They don't really have any information, so they're going to probably wait for Nisqy here and then go as a unit. Otherwise, they could get picked off. Unforgiven might have to be careful here. Looks like Shlatan's on in the bush. They're not going to stop him, and he should be back in time for bot. And so Mad Lions lose nothing.
Excellent, excellent early game coming out of the Mad Lions. Clinical. Something you expect from a team this far up in the standings, but still, nonetheless, very well played, very well executed. That said, I like that Misfits are fishing, that they are looking for some of these plays. I think one of the difficult parts right now, Mersa level 4, no real lane for him to go. He's been trying to roam to respond to some of the pressure that Mad have been putting down, and Misfits at least will be able to grab this dragon uncontested.
When the dragon dies, though, this opens up a play for Mad. They can go 3-man top here. They have Herald, the tower could die, and Nisqy can get this blue buff. So, we'll track the mid jungle again. Nisqy could take this blue, run top, and dive Armut, dive Irrelevant again, because all of your team's bot side. And it looks like that's going to be the play for Mad. 3-man top for the 3rd time in the game. Irrelevant extremely low, no mana. GP ult to push the wave in. Irrelevant has to kind of tank the wave here to stop them from being able to get into tower range. And they're going to go anyway.
Nowhere for him to go, just trying to delete the wave so they cannot push any further.
Mad Lions just playing with the information. They have information on everyone the whole game. We saw it from the level 1 when they warded red, where Shlatan is. They know where he is this entire game, so they can just play to the opposite side. And they're just so careful on the other side. Look at Unforgiven. He's doing Krugs. You can't really make a play bot either, so Misfits just losing out everywhere right now and not finding any advantage whatsoever.
Mad Lions absolutely dissecting Misfits. Difficult, difficult game to play out. At this point, with all the advantages they have across the map, it feels like Misfits, short of a Mad Lions mistake, always have to be willing to give up so much to make any kind of play of their own. Maybe it does get a bit easier as Mersa gets closer and closer to level 6. Neon, of course, a little bit ahead in XP as he's been left alone for a very long period of time, but well, now the problem comes to bot lane. They did enough on the top side of the map. They're going to look for a little bit more here on the bottom side. They know the support is vulnerable. There is no cleanse for Mersa. That is easy pickings. Only level 5.
Kaiser.
A perfect hook right as one body falls. Another will follow. The Renata Thrall will not find any more purchase, and Neon just barely manages to make it out.
Nisqy is everywhere. He was just top 30 seconds to a minute ago. He's dove top 3 times. Now he's going towards bot, forcing out every summoner from the Misfits bot lane and getting a kill. And now he's going to go back mid and catch the wave. What is Vetheo actually doing here? He's 6 CS up, hasn't really had the push. Every single time Nisqy's at the push, he's making a play. And I guess for argument's sake, Vetheo doesn't have any lanes to play around because they're kind of under tower most of the time and they don't have any real setup. So he's trying to find something, but there's nothing to be found.
Absolutely. And I think, again, credit to Nisqy. He feels like the glue that has brought this team back together. So take a look back at this particular play. And you've seen this one before. You saw it on the top side. It's just mirrored here. Go in, land the CC, this time locking him out under tower. Great recognition that the Renata does not have the cleanse. Yep. This is easy pickings. And then Kaiser, a little bit good, a little bit lucky on the hook right as the body falls, and it all works out. Yeah, good target selection there. And Vetheo is just kind of chasing his tail this game, saying to his team, well, I have pushing waves, but I don't really have anything to play for here, guys. Now he's actually hovering bot, so maybe they can threaten some kind of bot dive. They have a 4-man play set up here with Pink, so Kaiser might face check, but looks like they're going to call it off and go back to catch the waves. So a couple plates in Neon's back pocket. The Zeri can do a hell of a lot of damage if she can stack up her crit items. We'll keep track of Neon's items as the game goes on, but yeah, I'm just going to keep track of Nisqy for now, because every single time that mid wave's pushed, one side is going to get ganked, dove, or at least be forced out. And when we talk about players as facilitators, sometimes that means they're facilitators, and sometimes that means they're not great mechanically. But in Nisqy's case, he's actually a facilitator. He is everywhere on the map. He is making everything happen for this team. And I think the fact that he has slotted in so quickly and so well to this Mad Lions lineup is a credit to the coaching staff of Mad, to the team itself, and to Nisqy as well. It's a fantastic thing to watch because we see across our league how hard it is for some teams to integrate new players. And for Mad Lions, it has been incredible.
And it was... Oh, gets cancelled here, Armut. Might be in trouble. Gonna fight off Irrelevant, dodge away from the queue, see if he pops the Ornals here, Irrelevant. Armut should be fine. And yeah, just speaking about Nisqy, it was almost criminal that he wasn't playing in a major league in spring. You know, this guy was rank 1. He had a really good showing last year, took Fnatic to Worlds, took them to a finals in a lower bracket run. There was a plethora of achievements that he did throughout last year that merit at least an LEC spot. I mean, you can see it now the second he comes in, the amount of difference and the amount... The night and day that Mad Lions looked ever since he's joined. Even this game alone, the amount he's providing to his team is unreal. So great to see him back, great to see him in form. And he's going to TV back here. Just 5 CS down here. Once he pushes out this wave, he's going to look for another play. Herald is up in 1 minute 20, Dragon's up in 50, but it looks like they're looking at the red buff here, Mad Lions. It's just spawned. Kaiser and Elyoya around. A bit risky to go for a red buff at 13, 14 minutes in a game, but they're posturing on this topside river.
A lot of pressure, get a lot of time because they clear out the waves here. So at least know this is coming. The Ultra Shock laser comes over the wall. Mad Lions' big lead at this stage of the game. 4K, 13, 14 minutes in is absolutely massive. Already broke down 1 tower, got some plates on the top side as well. Only mid has remained relatively untouched, mostly as a result of Nisqy never being there. He doesn't like his lane. He's a second jungler, effectively. But now finally he gets to come home and maybe look for a dive here onto Neon. No cleanse, as you highlighted. Locked up as he tries to get over the wall. Give this man a break. Finds a bit more time with the bailout, though, but cannot quite get it done. Unforgiven, firing back and finding the kill.
Okay, 1 for 1. Not the worst there for Misfits. We'll see if they can find more here. Shlatan's on the way. Mad don't have vision on him. Nisqy no flash. Unforgiven does. No pullback from Mersa. Looks like they can play towards an objective here. Misfits have tempo through mid. Maybe they can look for a dragon.
And small victories. The Dragon stacking up, though, is maybe a way out of what is a pretty big hole at this stage of the game. Good that they got the 1 for 1. Good that they're able to find that. A second Dragon as well will be solid. We'll see what the Rift is going to be for the team, but Soul starts to feel like one of the ways that you can crawl out of this deficit.
I bet they're praying it's not a cloud. And Infernal would be top tier. Mountain would be all right. Yeah, Infernal, fantastic for Misfits. That's exactly what they want when you're playing Zeri, Lee Sin, Ahri. We'll see if they can keep stacking those dragons. Of course, if they get 1 more, they'll be on soul point, and then it's just a case of stealing 1 and dying for it, basically, and just keeping it for the rest of the game. Mad Lions going to do some cross-mapping, get the Herald. They've already taken both side lane towers. And this Herald will probably go mid.
Yeah, on top of that, Armut's Cole is about to proc. You can see about a 2K gold lead. His second item is now finished for Kalista. Still bits and pieces of the shield, though. Hopefully Neon is going to finish that right as he does recall. Has enough gold.
Yeah, and now it's just a case of finding picks. If Misfits overstep, they will die. They have so much CC here, Mad Lions. A lot of kind of global pressure as well from the GP ultimate. Kalista can press 1 button and just basically engage herself, right? So there's so many tools that they have to work with. And it looks like they're going to match Nisqy into the Ornn, which I expect has been building a lot of armor to withstand the GP. So smart selection there. No TPs up just yet. No objectives for 4 minutes.
Difficult game. Our eyes on some of the individual playmakers. Obviously, no matter how far ahead you are, there are still lulls. There are still times where you're going to lose out on some of these pushing lanes. And Armut has now potentially been caught out Misfits trying to find the weak point right now. Maybe Armut can be dove here.
He knows something's up. He's looking for them. He didn't find them though yet. He's
Still
just gonna walk.
A level 11 GP.
Just walks by. Misfits unaware as to where he is.
2 ships in the night.
2 ships in the night.
Passing each other.
But now they're gonna see Shlatan. Looks like Mad just want to get this mid-tier one. Herald will be dropped. Armut's on the way. 5-man siege. Neon.
Neon in trouble.
Cleanse
Timing
gone.
that cleanse. The root still manages to come through. Kaiser's not going to overcommit on the hook. It's just going to be about breaking down mid-tier 1. Second charge should come out as well.
They're going to go for 2 towers here. They don't have Lissandra ult.
Relevant off to the side. This could be big. Instead, turning to Nisqy, though, going for the knockup onto Lissandra. That's a difficult target to finish off. Trying to just get him out of the fight as Armut leaps out to safety, trying to get away. Stun coming over the wall. Vetheo going to be away from that one. Here comes the Renan ult across the wall, and they're going to start tearing each other to pieces. Shlatan now stepping in. Unforgiven so incredibly strong. He's still standing. Unforgiven going to get taken down.
Oh.
The bailout coming in clutch. Nisqy will not turn back, and Misfits find the fight.
There you go, Misfits. They punished the mistake from Mad Lions, going way too deep. Nisqy not having ult, trying to siege at tier 2. Armut gets caught out. Unforgiven dies as well, so shutdowns across to Misfits. Vetheo picked up 1. Irrelevant gets another. That should weather the gold lead that's been happening in top. So picks are always good. Still quite far behind in gold, but the most important thing is they have the dragon stacking. If Mad Lions keep getting punished like this, then those objectives could get stacked up. And now it's Armut. You can see Shlatan was bot way earlier on. Irrelevant, a bit confusing here. He goes for Nisqy, but I suppose he's kind of zoning him away regardless. Maybe Misfits could have tried to commit that side, but they're just way too far away. Armut, nice orange flash on the kick, but then they tried to overcommit into helping him. Charm connects, massive Everfrost from Vetheo. Dashes away from Kaiser, who used the Kalista ult to knock him up. And Shlatan, just good awareness to just keep going. Just keep going and looking for kills, because if they get nothing here, they might not have another chance.
Playing on the absolute edge, the bailout, the gore drinker, everything coming together just to make sure that he can walk away with a sliver of life. Very well executed by Shlatan. You heard it on the desk. Lee Sin, and you know it as a Lee Sin connoisseur yourself. Hard to play in this meta. You either do it flawlessly or you do not do it at all. And for Shlatan, while the early game was not perfect, has not fallen yet, and was able to be the big catalyst for that play.
Yeah, I got a small AD buff, Lee Sin base AD. 2 AD helps us clear out a little bit, a tiny bit of Q damage as well, but not enough to push him into the top tier jungle. Clear speed is quite slow, and yeah, durability update hasn't done him any favors. Doesn't scale super well into the later stages of the game, but now Mad are trying again. Round 2 for this mid tower. They have 2 creeps, but Misfits being out of position should guarantee it. It's just a case of do Misfits engage. Here's the TP from Irrelevant in mid lane. They're gonna have to collapse here. Armut has TP too, and he has ult. They're gonna try to find an angle here. Misfits just gonna chase them.
Walking now into the pitch. Irrelevant with the ultimate. Has to wait for them to group up, try to find something. Vetheo now hooked, now locked up. Warren ulti, where are they going to go for? Nisqy, good use of the frozen path. They are going to walk away, just forced to use the GPO. Bot lane tower will fall as well in the meantime. But Mad Lions keeping their push up on the top side, pulling Misfits up to respond to them. But now Misfits risking a lot walking into the fog of war.
They're like a pressure magnet right now. Misfits have to respond. The good news for Misfits is Drake's in 40 seconds, so if Mad Lions overstay, they can turn towards it. But if they engage, they don't have an Orin ult. Vetheo's a little bit lower than he might like to start off a fight. Misfits want to get this red buff onto Neon, get the mid wave and go to Dragon. Mad Lions very aware of it. Not going to stay here for too long, going to base and try to get there first. So now it's a race to the Dragon. Irrelevant won't have the Orin ult for it, but neither will Armut. Shlatan looking.
Way, wanting to go for the kick here. Pulling out the oranges, Shlatan just bullying him away, keeping the lane pressure at least even for now as they move. They're going to get first access to this. There's no vision on the bottom side either for the Mad Lions. It's going to be nigh impossible for them to contest without brute forcing.
This is going to be the fight of a lifetime for Misfits. If they can win this and get the Dragon, they're on soul point for the rest of the game. 1 steal for a trade of death is absolutely fine later on. Mad Lions face checking into darkness. No Orin ult. They're just going to start it up. Looks like they just want to try to look for the flip. If Elyoya goes in, they can look for it. Eyes on Nisqy.
Nisqy ready. A lot of AoE damage. Hook is going to go wide, though. That's going to be big. Nisqy not going to take the claw into the midst of the team. Neon waiting over the wall. Dragon getting lower and lower. Elyoya now trying to step forward. Bailout coming through. Rather, ulti coming over the wall. Nisqy now going in. Neon, that's going to be the cleanse now. Burned out. Misfits retreating as 5. They know that they got what they came for. They do not need to risk anything else. Nisqy in the middle of Nisqy. That's a 3-man. Now going to go golden. Buys himself a brief moment as the rest of the team goes through. It's a reset for Elyoya. It's going to be Misfits getting slaughtered. The 2-man knock up into the wall. The resets left and right. Vetheo trying to get something done. Neon running for the hills. But overall, Mad Lions taking everything but the Dragon.
It's a 3-for-1. The question that Misfits are going to ask themselves now is, can Mad do Baron? If they can't, it stings to lose the fight, but they are on soul point. They're going to run towards it. Irrelevant doesn't have TP. They have good secure with the Kalista, and the Viego GP should be enough damage to secure this. The question is, can Vetheo and Neon contest this? Neon looks like he's farming up camps, and I expect this Baron to be gone. So That's going to hurt Misfits a hell of a lot. Those tier 2s will probably fall, the siege will begin. And if they can weather it and fight this next Drake, there is an angle. There is a way that they can win this game. It's just really, really difficult.
Only gets harder. Oh, and surviving under the towers with only the Ahri for reliable wave clear. It's going to be a difficult hold for Misfits.
So, the Dragon gets burst down, Misfits get it. Nisqy flash ults Neon to get his cleanse, but then the E in to get the 3-man route into stopwatch was fantastic. The problem is he leaves himself a bit vulnerable here. Unforgiven does a lot of the work here in terms of cleaning up, but Shlatan with his Q and this massive kick actually knocks up Armut. He actually solo kills Nisqy in the backline, so there was a little bit of glimmer of hope here for Misfits in this fight. Vetheo doesn't get the reset on it though, and the backline is just being torn apart by Unforgiven Kaiser and Elyoya. They're forced to run away.
Yeah, the big thing about Elyoya is the second he gets that reset, there's just so many champions with immediately relevant CC cooldowns. He uses them, he goes back into Viego's normal form and just wipes up a fight. You can see now the gold. 3 members, all of the carries topping the charts on the side of the Mad Lions, expected with this kind of lead.
Yeah.
But again, the sliver of hope on the side of Misfits is this Infernal. They have the Ornn, they have some tools to make this fight work, but they need to get the pressure, they need to control, and most importantly, they need to live for 3 more minutes. It's going to be hard to survive this siege.
Yeah, this tier 2 expected to fall with the cannon. They didn't get it down, and Irrelevant's not there yet. They're going to defend the tier 3 unless Shlatan can find a hero play here with a flash ward jump kick onto Unforgiven. The thing that stings again for Misfits is because they have 3 Drakes, they don't get objective bounties. You know, that top tier 1 dying, an objective bounty will always help. It accrues more and more gold every now and then when you get these objectives, but they won't have that. 2 minutes 30 seconds is what they're waiting for. They're going to have to go full elixir, full items, stopwatches, absolutely everything all on the next dragon. And try to find it. And if they can go 3 for 4, 2 for 4, even losing the fight, of course, just getting the objectives all they want. That's exactly what they're focusing on.
Misfits, win is very important at this stage. Separating yourself from the bottom of the pack, crucial in the race for playoffs. Saw earlier today, Astralis getting knocked down a little bit, 3 and 4 now, as Vitality rises up to 4 and 3. They can tie themselves with Astralis with the win here, taking down an opponent that currently stands very far above them. But in these early weeks, everything is so close that these wins matter so much. Irrelevant, pushing for the knockup. Bit of poke back and forth, some nice footwork to get away from any potential damage.
It's going to be a bit of an ARAM for the next minute 30 seconds. Every wave pushed in the mid is a little bit more vision. 2 items complete across the board for Misfits.
Healing relics not even there. It's a hard ARAM.
It's a hard one.
Mad Lions fishing though. Kaiser a lot of confidence to step forward like this. Luckily he is tanky enough to just survive that. Misfits of course can't afford to overcommit onto a support or very quickly find themselves collapsed on.
Yeah, they want to get this top tier 2 here. Mad Lions want to keep Misfits in their base, keep them responding. Looks like Misfits want to answer and defend this. All 5 of them up here. There's no 1-4 here for Mad Lions, so there's no pressure on any of the lanes, so Misfits can just invest everyone here to defend. Kaiser hits Vetheo.
Lands in. Shlatan sidestepping, sentences Vetheo to death. He goes golden, buys himself a brief moment with the bit. Gonna be good. Hostile takeover buys a bit more space. GP getting cut down.
Okay,
Misfits. Maybe they found it. Vetheo, he's still got 2 stacks left. Nisqy's all out of mana, and now Unforgiven, the last man standing.
Okay,
doing
Misfits.
so much work, but it does not matter. Misfits, how do they do it?
That was a massive fight for Misfits. I don't know how many people Mersa hit with that ultimate, that hostile takeover. I think it was at least 3, maybe 4, and all of Mad Lions started hitting each other. That's when Neon could jump over the wall and dish out so much damage from a different angle, and that allows Misfits a big of 5 kills. Let's look at this again because we'll keep track of this hostile takeover. Kaiser, massive hook onto Vetheo, lands the ult as well. I think he does pop the stopwatch shortly before getting CC'd, so he does live. Here comes the hostile takeover. It hits into a 3-man knockup as well. And watch Neon on the side just dishing out all the damage. Unforgiven pops a stopwatch and then goes towards the backside of the fight. All of Mad Lions try to kite back. Vetheo dashing in and out, trying to find resets. And then it ends up in a 3 versus 1 for Unforgiven. He falls, Nisqy falls, and now the question is, where are we at live? Are we towards the dragon? Because it's spawning in 10 seconds. Misfits get the crab, they get the setup. Nisqy TPing in. Ultimates coming up. Neon and Mersa don't have them yet.
This was their one way out. This was their miracle. They found the fight. They gave them access to the pit. Now they need to find one more to keep things going. Irrelevant's ult's just around the corner.
Neon,
maybe
no
they can play for that one. Neon, no cleanse, no ulti either. No hostile takeover.
I think Misfits could decide to not fight this. No cleanse on Neon, no ults just yet, but it looks like the way they're posturing, they do want to fight it. They're going to go in for it. Shlatan
committing. Need at least one small cooldown.
Did he use the smite? He has another one coming up soon. I'm not sure how long that smite cooldown is. If it's 15 seconds, then he should be alright. It's ticking down slowly. Misfits are waiting. They've got Mersa's ult up in around 5 to 10 seconds. They just need to buy a bit more time.
Eyes on Nisqy, though. He's looking for Neon. They should know that he has no cleanse. He's Mad Lions' target.
Going in, kicking the jungler away. Maybe a little bit of a mistake, because now he's just going to get locked up. He has to follow up onto Elyoya. Vetheo pursuing. They're just trying to take out the jungler. In the meantime, Mad Lions, what is their call? The charm manages to connect. Vetheo, the hero play. We talked about jungle mid, and here they are standing strong as they find the jungler of the Mad Lions. Mad Lions are now forced to commit. They have to stay for this play, but it does not work. Nisqy overstays the hostile takeover. Glista and GP beating the hell out of each other, and it's Misfits who are coming out on top. Neon ready to go over the wall in a moment if he needs to. Kaiser getting thrown back in, trying to buy space, trying to buy time, but it's Unforgiven. He laid a Forgotten in the fight, but he still does so much damage. Armut in the midst of the pit, but Neon is stacking. He's got so much speed, he's got so much damage. It's an absolute brawl. It is a bloodbath, but Misfits will find the Infernal Soul.
They have no smite. They're being very cautious about this because they need to secure it, but the Mad Lions of Misfits have done it. An ace in top lane, a winning fight around Dragon. Huge gold deficits. Now they have themselves a soul.
I cannot believe what we are seeing from Misfits right now. The fight on the top side, perfect punishment to an overeager engage from the Mad Lions. Transitioned into this play, absolute confidence from Shlatan. The follow-up from Vetheo, the team coordination we were waiting to see.
The confidence and trust. Vetheo commits all the charges to land this one charm where Elyoya has to pop the stopwatch. He buys a bit of time for the rest of his team, but Mad Lions just look a little bit lost here. Nisqy's trying to say, let's go in here on this side. We need to collapse on these 3 members. We have 3 ourselves. But then the second he lands, he gets charmed by Vetheo. No hesitation to go back in. Hostile takeover onto 2 of the biggest auto-attack damages Mad Lions have. And then a lot of confusion here from Mad Lions, but Misfits staying calm and collected and staying together. Kaiser throws himself in 1 versus 2. Unforgiven tries to hit, but Misfits know the clear win condition is Dragon. He can't get the execute onto Shlatan. Armut even flashing forwards. Bit confusing there because Neon makes fun of him a bit and gets the barrels.
And when the pressure was on for Mad Lions, the calls became split. The GP ult not in the right place whatsoever. Nisqy going over the wall blind, hoping to find something. It all fell apart for them in the chaos of the moment. It was Misfits who retained their composure. Yeah, that Kalista damage is nuts, but it doesn't mean anything if you can't get the objective in the end.
Charm hits. They can find a kill here if Irrelevant pops the ult. They're going to commit towards it. Kalista ult on cooldown.
Going to get locked up here. They need resets. They need the Lissandra passive. They need the Viego possession. They will get nothing.
They're going to keep going here. We'll see if Misfits turn towards a Baron. It's a very, very risky call, but you have all your ultimates up, so why not go for it? You have the Infernal Soul, which is worth heaps of gold as well. Mad Lions will see their vision. They have absolutely none of it. Maybe a couple pinks in inventory, but support being down makes it so hard. Who face checks? Nisqy's going to have to be the one to step up. He doesn't have flash, though. 1 CC hits, he's dead. Irrelevant. Eyes on him. Shlatan looking for the kick.
Kicking Unforgiven back into the team. The CC is there. The damage is there. The GP ult is big, though. Keep your eyes on the barrels. Maybe Armut can do something. Neon very, very low, but Mad Lions getting cut down as Vetheo starts to tear through the team members 1 at a time. Irrelevant. The front line that they needed. Misfits find another fight. They will look for the Baron.
Massive play by Shlatan. It's just unfortunate he didn't get the bailout as he got the kick, so he falls. They're going to turn towards this Baron, but they have no smite. Elyoya had to base. He was way too low HP. Armut, 1 versus 4. 1 barrel combo could kill Mersa and Neon, but Vetheo misses the charm. Orange used anyway. Root connects.
Kaiser now coming in. There's no way he can get a barrel on that pit.
This is risky. Misfits have very little tools here. Kaiser's just going to go in.
Lower, Vetheo locked up. Ultra Shock Laser, a bit of poke.
Elyoya's almost here. They have to finish.
Where is it going to go? Armut throwing out the Q a little bit early. They're going to finish the Baron, but they might all lose their lives in the process. Vetheo taking down the base as fast as humanly possible. He does. He manages to escape. Infernal and the Baron standing strong on 4 members of Misfits.
Misfits are playing with fire a bit there. Vetheo dies, but they have 4 Baron buffs, and my god, they found their way back into this. How the hell have they done it? 3 minutes on Elder, and with this Baron, there's so much standing gold left on the map. The mid-tier 1 is still up after 30 minutes.
And this game was a foregone conclusion. It was Mad Lions walking a victory lap as they led Misfits on a leash around the map, but they got overconfident. Believed too much on the top side play, saw a hook on Vetheo, overcommitted, and that single moment turned the game against them because Misfits have been punishing them left and right, finding these team fights, finding an incredible level of coordination that we have not seen from them yet this season.
And let's not forget, Misfits beat SK. They beat BDS yesterday. If they win today, that's a 3-game win streak for Misfits. That's massive. We call them the streaky team. It would be 4 losses into 3 wins, so they can start contesting the middle of the table, get in that fight with Vitality and Astralis, and this is a massive stepping stone against a team like Mad Lions.
And it's so big, too, for how they win. The fact that they found the comeback. Because against SK, they dominated in the early game. Against BDS, they just outscaled. It was simple. It was clear how they won the game. We didn't need to overcomplicate it. But here, the fact that they found these fights, that they took these opportunities. Yes, Mad Lions may have overstayed their welcome on the top side, but it does not matter. when that opportunity presented themselves, Misfits found it, and now they're looking to break down this tier 2 tower,
behind.
but here comes the TP.
Here comes Nisqy. Neon has cleanse. Mersa, of course, doesn't, so he might be the target here for Nisqy. They're bunched up.
This is the worst place to be against Lysandra. Everybody locked up into the immediate GPO, but it's not the takeover. It's so damn good. Misfits turn on an instant, baiting them into the fight. Vetheo now hunting for blood as everything falls apart. They thought they had them in the pinch, but Misfits will not fall.
They can end the game here. They have a wave. It's 40 seconds on the rest of Mad Lions. It looked like they had Misfits in a choke, but it was Mad Lions who grouped up against the hostile takeover, the massive Arnold. Huge plays from Misfits. They're going to push in here. Can they end?
The counter engage just too much for Mad Lions to deal with.
They have to go for it. They have to go for it. Irrelevant just needs to step up and tank them. Elyoya and Unforgiven. What can you do?
2 men standing. Enough resets, maybe, just maybe you get something done, but they can't. They cannot stand
They're
strong.
too scared.
The cannon minions are here, Unforgiven just trying to shred it, but Neon now happy to have a little bit of a 1v1 for a brief moment. The bailout still there to buy him a bit more space, to buy a bit more time. A little bit of an ego battle.
Okay, Unforgiven.
He's gonna lose it in
no.
the end. Unforgiven clearing the way. Misfits. Oh no, Misfits, what have you done to build up such a massive lead? To throw it all the way on the back of an ego battle with an enemy AD carry. Misfits on the retreat.
TP behind. Vetheo has one more dash. He has flash. He doesn't have any. There's no vision on him. Mad Lions don't know where he is, but there's 40 seconds on the Elder Dragon, and there's 40 seconds on Irrelevant, 30 seconds on Neon. Mad Lions need to find setup on this Dragon. I don't think Unforgiven will be up, but it's a 1v1. It came down to a 1v1. Unforgiven versus Neon. Unforgiven won. Misfits are trying to hit the Nexus. Neon's trying to hit Unforgiven. Neon loses, and then all of Misfits say, hang on a second, we're losing the backside fight. Vetheo has to clean up at the end, and then they can't finish the game. Let's go back to live because Mad Lions are looking for a pick here. Mersa might fall for the bait. Dragon's up in 10.
Without the hostile takeover in the next fight, if Mersa dies, if he is not around, the engage from the Mad Lions becomes so much more reliable. The Lysandra becomes terrifying once again.
There's Waltz in the base. Irrelevant's going to TP in here. There's no Nexus towers left for Mad Lions. If anyone from Misfits can find their way into the base around this fight, they can end the game. But it looks like it's going to be a 5 versus 5. Or an upgrade's coming in. Mersa going to pick that one up, or Vetheo. We'll see what happens. Regardless, they're going to start up this Dragon. Armut's going to get the mid push. Doesn't have the level 16 just yet. Who's going to get the Dragon?
Elder, bounty on top of the Elder, on top of everything that has happened in this game. And you cannot be a European team if you are not ready for the backdoor, but Mad Lions are committing a lot. The ward will fade away, limiting that option, limiting that potential. Neon, though, very fast.
Elyoya.
Leap over the wall, could try to go for something instead.
Here they go, here they go.
Pit. Potential 50-50 as they try to burn it down. 4K, they're holding it, they're going to get the shutdown. Vetheo now running. The Nautilus ult is not going to amount to a single thing. Nisqy's on the back side, but it's too little, too late. The hostile takeover by this space. He manages to make it work. Nisqy in the middle of everyone, but the Lysandra damage on its own will not be enough. Misfits stand tall.
Can they get the Dragon? Can they get the Dragon? There's no spite.
Maybe they can get it. Maybe they can find the reset. There has to be hope. There has to be something, but there is nothing left in this game for Mad Lions. They thought they had the win on a silver. This could be the greatest play we have seen all year. One more, maybe he can get it done, but no, the Gen G flare to come out. Vetheo, our own EU Chovy in the final moments.
Misfits is gonna end. They're gonna win. They're gonna win the game that they shouldn't have any business in doing so. But hang on a second, where are they going? Misfits, they could walk in and try to end the game. Kaiser's just respawned, Armut's respawned. It would have been a 2 versus 3, but they choose not to go for it. The game hasn't ended. Misfits back away.
And I don't know why they do it, but audience in Berlin, are you not entertained? Is this not peak European League of Legends?
Oh my god, what a breakdown here. Armut instantly dies. Massive mistake from him. Vetheo gets away. Knockup misses on Unforgiven. Now, Nisqy, fantastic engage, but eyes on Elyoya here. He gets the reset on Shlatan. What's his focus? It's the Dragon. It's not the fight. Perhaps he could have done more and helped Unforgiven and Nisqy. And then he goes back to the Dragon again. The Dragon resets again and keeps healing up. If he could have finished that with Nisqy, maybe they could have found the fight, but it kept healing up. And this is where Elyoya ults out of the way. Flashes over. Steals the Elder in front of 3 members of Misfits, and it's here where you think a miracle's gonna happen. You think one of the greatest plays on Vetheo might happen, the inspired pentakill, you think back to flashbacks, but no. Misfits keep it under control, but they can't close the game.
Baron set to fall again. If this one falls, surely it will be game over. It could all just come down to the fight.
Here they go.
Engage now coming out. Vetheo off to the side looking for the pick. Unforgiven again! Locked up! It's so Unforgiven! Damage! Unforgiven! No, he's not! Unforgiven falling, that is the death sentence. Mad Lions, 3 members still standing, but they are dead.
It's over.
Men walking, that is the final nail in the Mad Lions coffin. They built half of it themselves, but Misfits are more than happy to finish it for them. Armut running, Misfits running down the mid lane towards the Nexus to finish this game, to move up, to tie with the Astralis, to turn around their season. They will find the upset win. They will take down the Mad Lions.
Whew. That was intense. That was incredibly intense. But in that last fight, what happened? Mad Lions just looked like they went into that fight thinking it was already lost. Nisqy instantly dies, Unforgiven dies, the positioning wasn't great, Misfits incredible turn. And Mad Lions will be killing themselves for that one. Being so far ahead, and Misfits finding mistake after mistake after mistake, punishing them all, and crawling their way back to win the game and put themselves at 3 wins here in the LEC. 3-game win streak.
Incredible game. Incredible game of League of Legends. The fact that it started so Mad Lions' favorite. The fact that they were leading Misfits around every time. They moved top, Misfits have to respond. They moved bot, Misfits have to respond. It was controlled. It was clinical. Early game, mid game, throughout the entire game, right up until they followed up on that hook. Right up until, for one moment, they disrespected the hostile takeover, the potential for an orange. Shlatan's clean 3-man Lee Sin kick. It was a masterclass in comebacks from the side of Misfits.
Take a moment to breathe. Those Renata ults from Mersa were unbelievable. Like, every single one of them was either a GP or a Kalista, and Mad Lions were just tearing themselves out from the inside because of this ultimate. They can never really get a grasp on it. Misfits were always playing with so much confidence ever since they got that Infernal Soul, turning in every single fight, finding the right targets. And Misfits, smiles on the faces, leaving today with a win over Mad Lions. That game was only 35 minutes long, Dracos. It felt like a 50-minute one, the amount of fighting there was.
Wild, wild game. Key player of the game, though. Time for you to decide. At LEC on Twitter, Shlatan, Dion, Mersa are your options. All good options.
Yep. Very good option.
Just let us know. We're not going to help you sway. This is a great enough game. We won't do anything.
I mean, Neon was just incredible flanks in fights. Mersa,
Damage,
the ults,
consistent.
I can't tell you how fantastic those ults were. And Shlatan, just decisiveness. He came together with Vetheo. They were on the same page on those dragon fights, and they knew exactly how to find their way in.
It was... I'm blown away. You never expect these moments, these crazy games like this. You know, you expect this game before the G2 Fnatic game. People look at the G2 Fanatics. They forget about these games. They forget about the LEC and these crazy potentials for upsets. And all of us, I think, were like, this is a Mad Lions win. This is a Mad Lions win. This is a Mad Lions win. And the fact that they turned it around remains
it's always
so
Misfits.
crazy.
It's always Misfits.
It is always Misfits.
Once per split. G2, Mad Lions, it doesn't matter who it is. They're just gonna do it somehow.
We've had so many crazy Misfits games. We've had the Vetheo Akali plus Yumi crazy comeback against G2. We've had this. I mean, it's just the amount of times. I hate this saying, but they managed to pull a rabbit out of the hat on brand. I know. It's incredible. And to send it over to one of the people who made it happen, we'll toss now. That was a horrible toss. Laura, take it away. We don't even know what to say. We're speechless.
I don't even know what to say either. Just look at this card. I mean, I think this one is in order. What is going on? Vetheo, this is for you. Congrats on taking down Mad Lions today. Elyoya said yesterday, actually, that he didn't know what to expect from that game. It can go crazy, and especially when it goes into the late game for Mad Lions. Usually, it doesn't always end well. What were your expectations for this game?
Actually, I was really looking forward to this game. I wanted to play with Nisqy, against Nisqy again, because yeah, he's my friend, and I really like to face him. I think last year was really fun when we faced against each other. And yeah, I think we had to prove that, as I said last week, our wins were not only because we were facing maybe weaker opponents, but really because like first week was something that we had to forget, because it was just a really bad games from us. And I'm really happy that we show that we still are contenders. Yeah, you are 3-game win streak right now, which is really cool. Do you think the hope is back for Misfits after this one, and especially after this 2-0 week? I mean, I think I always had hope, and I always trust myself and my team a lot. But yeah, I think first week was really hard for me. And I had to take a lot, and I learned a lot from this. And now I think I'm just better as a player and person from what happened. And yeah, I'm just happy to show that. It's really nice to hear. But let's talk a bit more about the game. How did you turn it around?
What was the process into winning this one?
Yeah, I mean, we knew that we outscale a lot because they had like Kalista, and they had to snowball very early with Lissandra moving to every side. So our only goal was to secure early Drakes, so they can't snowball with the early Soul. And then in like fights, 5v5 on Drake, because we had the on against the GP, and the GP I think was pretty hard to play when both enemy carries have dashes. So I think we just had to secure early Drakes, and then it comes to we team fight 5v5 at Drakes, and I think we did pretty well this game to fight.
You really did. And you were talking about Nisqy. We'll call him Pisky this time because he lost the game, but you said that you were friends, that it means a lot to you that you beat him because you guys hang out usually outside of the studio. What defines him as a player, you would say? And why is it so special for you to take him down?
I would say Nisqy is probably like the nicest person I know from this, from esports, and I'm really, I mean, it means something because I think he's a really great player and he really provides something to his team. But it's important for me to show that I'm still better than him.
Yeah. As the spring MVP, of course. Last question for you, Vetheo. Your parents were here this weekend. You had a 2-0 week. Tell me about this experience and what it means to you personally to end the week on a good note. To have a good week, actually. Yeah,
I mean, it's first time we win on stage, actually, because last week we won, but we were not playing here. And it's first time my parents come to see me, so it's really important. And when I see them coming here at LEC, I can't just wait to see them coming, watching me for finals or for Worlds. It will really mean a lot for me.
I can imagine. Vetheo, thank you for the interview. And congrats for this really cool week from Misfits. We'll see you in week 4. Have a nice break. And we'll have a nice break also on our side. And when we come back, match of the week is on Fnatic versus G2. Just next.
Even the biggest champ needs a break.
True or false with Caps? Caps has the most ULCS/LEC titles.
No.
Perks has never won an MVP.
True.
There has never been an LEC top laner MVP.
False.
There are 3 LEC championship teams.
That's false.